Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. We got a few requests that we need to get through the next couple of weeks. Starting with something called the Sinner's Ascension. I believe it's what it is called. There it is. By Nexray. A screaming star. It shatters through the sky, and upon the earth it crashes. You saw it go. Is this poetic in some way? Am I supposed to read this in a particular, meter and rhyme? You followed that great arcing light. You, alone, within the confines of those shadow-stuffed woods, discovered it. Or rather, it discovered you. For a moment you regard one another. Then it came, and your suffering was great. The taste of iron, the seizing of muscles, the rippling of cochineal, is that a word? Fire beneath the skin. You have become one being now. So, something happened, breed of gods, you shall defy a cycle, it's your duty, your destiny. You must infect every creature, every living thing, each soul must be saved. Am I a divine entity trying to save the sinners, or am I like the embodiment of pure evil? I can't quite decide yet. It is a parasite, which means we're going to go for the ATP boost, genetic mimic, aquatic extremophile, and symptostasis. Fairly standard opening. Primum precator. Peccator? How do you say that? All I know is it got amazing pecs. The first. The stars will know you as the first sinner. This is fine, so long as you are not the last. Spread and become savior to this species. Am I sin? It seems that way. You will cloak this world in eternity. Ensure only the mighty remain. Ah, yes. Truly, sin is Darwin's legacy. Survival of the fittest. Whoever can kill enough people and get away with it, they are the ones who shall survive and pass on the gene pool. It's science! Alright, to the skies, and I shall make the great leap. Together we shall take flight and live within the heavens. Though all the flying things of this world we shall spread. Missing an L. Dang it, you were doing so well. Through the trees. It has some kin. Different, lost, and wild they are. But yet, oh yea, they are beautiful. Among these diverse creatures we too shall spread, even the animals shall sim. Beneath the sea, the vast ocean in its splendor and richness must be maintained. Through the sapphire, we shall spread, embody, and embolden. This actually does have a sort of poetic nature to it, I can kind of appreciate it. I kind of wonder if the author is fairly well-read. Usually you can tell if someone is pretty well-read by the way that they talk and the way that they write, especially when they're creating some work of fiction. I'm just saying, it's a guess. I'm going to feel absolutely stupid when the guy emails me back and says, oh yeah, no, I don't read books ever, ever at all. I'm just naturally poetic. I'll be fine, all right. You're just talented. Lucky you. The shell's exodus. Insects susceptible to infection. Carrier insects increase infectivity, especially in the hot climates. And a chance of mutation. Oh, finally we get some information as to what these do specifically. Well, that's good. Unburdened timbers. The green things shall be forevermore. The flower will grow, and one may not ponder why bloom if only destined to wither. See what I'm talking about? Come on! How is that not poetic? Ritual. The most effective means of our growth is via ritual. In time, we shall learn how best it is to be performed upon your kind. Blood sacrifices. Pretty confident. To swim. Within water is potential. We can swim, but only in the waters wax calm and kind. To hover. We shall travel upon the small fragments and shifting winds. It shall be slow, it shall be tedious, it shall often fail. Isn't this poetic, Anyali? It's just so beautiful. It's so well written. I love it. She just walked into the door and is staring at me awkwardly, and I'm talking to her and she's not saying a word, she's just mouthing nonsense, and I can't read lips. You think other things are poetic right now. I have no idea what that means, but somehow I feel like I shall not continue along that train of thought because it might lead in less appropriate directions. It's hard to tell with you, woman. Scintillating scotoma, also called visual migraine. It is common visual aura preceding a migraine, but can also occur cephalogically. Acephalogically, I think is the way you're supposed to say that. I don't know for sure. Testosterone production. Extra testosterone. Shut up, Inyali. It's not funny. I'm struggling here. Gosh dang it. You never support me in anything I do. You're not sorry. Okay, testosterone builds muscle and makes us more attractive. We shall be glorious. Yes! Build your muscles. Beautiful testosterone. Glorious indeed. Iatrophobia. We will unwind their rationale. If you were to be trusted, none of the medical profession. Oh, absolutely. Never trust doctors. You know, the funny thing is I actually do know some people who really do not trust doctors. The irony, of course, being that this one particular person I'm thinking of is engaged to a surgical technician. So that's going to be for an awkward relationship. Visual hallucination, we shall show them the beginning, with its tall veracities drifting across the crenulations of time, who fought to the bitter end. I don't know what any of that means, but it sure as heck sounds amazing. Abilities. Good lord, there's a lot of customization going on here. The heat. The air is an oil tapestry, waving and with a sheen, but we are not the onlooker, intimidated and awed. We are the artist, not oddest. Also oddest, ready to traverse this sweltering way. What the crud am I reading? This is not a freaking plaguing scenario, it's practically a work of art. The prodding fingers of death are chill, they will find us searing. Yeah, it's pretty good. Drug resistance, they strive to poison us. The lesser always fear the unknown, we suppose. No matter, we will adapt, we always have. Rebuke your solar kin. Stars? Wait, okay, it's all in caps, so I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to scream it a little bit. We will scream, we will fight, we will not obey. Let them come, let them warn men with their pains and dances. We do not care, no laws, no laws. That's how I'm supposed to do it, right? There's not even any punctuation. It's just a nonsense torrent of screaming. Do not evolve this. All right, if you say so. Symbiosis 1. We'll become more in tune with the host, making our presence less obvious, and learning this place is exotic, unfamiliar, and terribly diverse. We are set about to study. To preserve is to understand fully. All right, we finally got through the customization. Let's actually pick up something useful. I don't know what some of these do. Is any of this going to be good? Let's see, we started in Russia, right? So what's good for humid? Let's go for the unburdened timbers. I'll bet you that's good in rural areas. We're finally playing the scenario. It's been like 7 freaking minutes. 7 minutes into this scenario, we're only just now starting. Some might say that I am incredibly unprofessional. I would say this scenario is freaking deep. All right? So I'm just doing my best. Do we want to go for the ritual? Sure, let's pick up the ritual. Then there's ritual 2. We find it best if their eyes are removed. They shall be plucked delicately, fully, permanently. Is there a way to temporarily pluck out somebody's eyes? If that is a thing, somebody please let me know. Closest I can think of is LASIK eye surgery, and that's not removing the eyes so much as it's kind of like cutting back the, what do you call it? It's not the lens over the iris. What is that thing? Cornea? Thank you, Inyali. You're actually useful for something. I appreciate it. Let's go for Beneath the Sea. Oh, she says she teaches science. This is, again, proving to be a very unprofessional episode, but my wife has decided she wants to be involved today. Don't apologize. I'm sure people think it's incredibly wholesome. It's going to be amazing. Let's go for To the Skies. We're going to go with, I assume, land transmission. Nintendo to pixelate Toad in future. Did I just see that correctly? Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's hilarious. That's beautiful. Okay, I love it. Let's go for iatrophobia so that nobody trusts the doctors. Then we have revelation. This form is limiting. If only we could breathe as we once did, to think as we once did. Aren't we a star? Or the embodiment of sin? No one knows. We will tell glyphs of living lessons and mold your mind anew. Okay, I really dig this scenario. I'm just real talk for a second. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be facetious. This actually is sort of artistic in a way. And I really appreciate the effort that the author is going into this. That's not something I see in a lot of scenarios. I mean, I played a lot of really good scenarios, okay? And we'll see how this actually stands up as far as, like, balance purposes and everything else. But at least in terms of the descriptions and the customization here, I have to give full props. This is outright impressive. All right, so these transmissions honestly do not get a lot of infectivity. I think it's going to be better for me to go for things like to swim, and I'll hold off on to hover for the moment. Let's see if I can get any more infectivity somewhere else. No, not with that. Let's go for the testosterone production. Let's be big and bulky and beautiful. You like them thick. You like them chunky. That's the meme, right? I wouldn't know because I despise them. And yet, I'm trying to be relevant with the kiddos. All right, learning. Do we want to go for this? Do we want to go for symbiote? And y'all, like, get out of the room. Why is it every time I make a joke, you walk in just silently laughing? This is a weird episode. Let's go for the hover. Okay, we'll go for a little bit of extra air transmission. I assume that is going to work the way we want to. Now, because we started in Russia, I would say that the primary concern that we have is getting into places like Madagascar, New Zealand, and the Caribbean. Those are probably the 3 islands I am the most concerned about. You'd think it might be the Philippines and stuff. I think we'll get in through China and stuff pretty quickly. But a place like Madagascar and the Caribbean, yeah, that's absolutely going to be a problem. So do we continue with the other transmission types? Sure, hot climates are actually useful to me now. Through the trees, like I assume that because it has so little infectivity for such a high cost, there must be a very high transmission modifier somewhere, right? I assume these things, but I do not know. We will go for some heat transmission, or resistance, there we go, and some drug resistance so we spread a little bit faster in places like Europe. Surprisingly, we have not gotten into Greenland. There we go. The second I say that, we get into Greenland. I should say things like that more often. It's amazing we haven't yet gotten into Madagascar. Nope. No. Oh, okay. Okay, that's not going to work, apparently. All right, let's go for through the trees and assume that that actually works out well. That leaves me with 15 more DNA. I don't know how much more severity I want at this stage. That's my only problem, but I think we kind of have to. We could go for insomnia. I can't sleep, she cried, nails in her cheeks, nails in her cheeks. Why is that repeated? Is this a reference to something? Let's go for the revelation. That leads to obsession. Severe alteration to orbital cortex triggers OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, forcing hosts to become concerned only with that which shall preserve us all, which obviously is me, a fallen star / embodiment of / divine will. I don't know. It's very divine and mystical. Don't question it, ya plebs. All right, we're going to go for some more drug resistance. I don't want to go for that much severity. It just doesn't seem like a very good idea. I assume that this is like genetic hardening and this is genetic reshuffle, but I don't know that for absolutely sure. Let's go for Ritual 2. That leads to Ritual 3. If the throat is coated with wax, all shall be well. Force open the mouth with a funnel and pour it slowly down the throat. This has gone in a weird direction. I don't know what's going on. All right, we got into the Caribbean, so that does leave with Madagascar and New Guinea. Actually doing pretty well in terms of the islands. Still need to spread faster in places like Saudi Arabia. Could go for the extra severity with Ritual 3. Little concerned about it, but let's give it a shot. That leads to the final ritual, Ritualistic Perfection. There is a rune whose name we cannot recall, but within our reserves we have discovered its form once more. It shall help when carved upon the quivering flesh. Sometimes I'm kind of wondering if this is like going down a Darkest Dungeon route. I mean, it's just something about the wording. It's not quite Lovecraftian, but it's getting in that direction, right? Glorious conflict. They despise us. But what is their humanity if it is designed to fail? Destined, sorry. They separate from us. They scorn us. Our blessing is burning at the stake set up, prepared and lit by the man whose fortune is to age and die. I sort of think that it's even more dramatic if you just sort of read it like that, you know? Not that I'm some sort of professional voice actor, though God, I wish I could be. That would be fun. Nonetheless, I think we did pretty good. Let's go for the obsession that leads to cleansing. Some hosts will prove weak. We must secure this place forever. The frail have no part in what endures. Which endures, that which endures thing, I don't know. So Madagascar shutting down their land borders. Very helpful, of course, for an island. But we did get in. Unless we did not get into Papua New Guinea, which means we have lost this scenario. All right, so the balancing is a little bit off so far just in terms of infectivity-severity ratio. Again, not necessarily wrong, I guess, in the sense of it's a mistake of the scenario, but it does require a bit of a recalibration on my end. I'm trying to figure out where I would get more infectivity. Maybe down these hallucination routes? The end of the determined, the beginning of us. Every cell drips with our gift. They did not accept it, but we have fulfilled our duties regardless. People, birds, insects, they are all diffident and timorous. We must embolden them for the coming conflict. Only the mighty may remain. Cull them. Yes, cull them, because that's a word you use in a typical sentence in the modern English. All right, the genome has been fully sequenced, and they're curing the ever-loving crud out of me. So yeah, does this lead to anything? Because I'm going to have to restart the scenario anyway. Memory loss, hard to cure. Understanding. Neuropathic action of the pathogen in the frontal cortex causes unhindered enlightenment. They will see the preacher, his secret, and its impact upon us all. Pretty effective. Am I the only one who thinks that I'm losing infectivity as time goes on? Am I not paying attention to that? Because it feels like we're not getting much. Maybe one of these actually got rid of infectivity instead of increasing it. Either way, without getting into New Guinea, this is a restart. So let's try this one again. So what I changed in my strategy this time around is I didn't bother with as many of the transmission types that don't seem to give a lot of infectivity, and I tried to keep my severity relatively low by going for symbiosis. And of course, symbiosis reduces the severity, which allowed me to go undetected for a much longer period of time, including getting to all of the islands that I was looking for. Also, went for the environmental hardening, which does seem to help things quite a bit. So now, I stocked up a bunch of DNA points, and it's time to start moving toward killing off the world. The question is, do we go for the hallucination route? Do we go down the scotoma route? I don't really know which one is best. I guess I'll go for insomnia, revelation. Oh, crap. What gets this? What unlocks it? What am I missing? How did we pick this up last time? All right, let's go for the scotoma. That leads to mental stimulation, apathy. Uh-oh. I have absolutely no idea how. Maybe I have to go down the ritual route. Oh, that could be. Maybe? No? No? Uh-oh. So I just wasted all of my DNA trying to figure out how to infect the entire world, and apparently, I may have just messed everything up. How did I get this last time? Well, this is unfortunate because now I have no lethality to work with. If we become cold, we become brutal. Those who are brutal are efficient. Sometimes true. The stimulation of neurons via electrical pulses and increased hormonal production can vastly improve the IQ. Together, we are more than 2. That sounds good and all. The only thing I can think to do is maybe rebuke my solar kin. So let's scream at him for a bit. Oh, well, it seems to have just automatically gotten myself into every other country? No, that was just coincidence, never mind. But mutation chances apparently through the roof. Look at the parasites wiggle! Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. What the heck happened to them? I have no idea. Okay, well, do I go down transmissions? What did I do last time? I don't think I've picked up anything different. Don't need visual hallucination. These don't give lethality. So it has to be transmissions, right? No. No. What did I do? How did I get it? Well, we're apparently gaining all manner of understanding and everything. The mutation chance is out the frickin' wazoo. Well, I mean, we're gonna infect the entire world. That's not the question at this point. And also, it looks like the cure is extremely slow now, which I find incredibly convenient. Do I just have to infect the entire world in sin? Is that all that I'm looking to do? Could be. Through the trees, to the skies. That unlocks it! Do I just have to get all 5? Oh, that sucks. Alright, obsession is now an option. And that'll lead to cleansing, but of course for that I need a little bit more DNA. Hey, we got that, and also instantly mutated it. So screaming at our solar kin, apparently highly effective. Highly effective. So this is genetic reshuffle. I don't know why earlier I assumed that maybe it wasn't. What does learning do? I have no idea what learning and strengthening does. First, we should be hollowed out from the space of our groin to the crown of our head, shall be removed, stored, and filled with a new power, a power of oxygen in man. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just pick it up and see. Perfection. Our form, rarely stable, has never lingered where one may call it pure, and yet now we feel it. I don't know what any of that does, but we're gonna pick it up. It seems like we're killing at a pretty good rate all of a sudden. The DNA is just rolling on in. This is great. What's left? Madagascar is not fully infected. That one's only a matter of time, though. I'm not too worried about it. Do we want to go symbiosis? No. I think I'll go for some genetic reshuffle and buy myself a little bit of extra score at this point. The entire world has been infected, and now we have victory. As the final voice fades, as the frontiers of space fray, in the end of everything, still you will be. You will endure all things. Forever. Forever, it repeats. For extra emphasis and drama. 566 days 67,279 points, 90% cure progress, somehow still equivalent for 3 stars. Not sure that I really deserve that, but okay. So in terms of balance, at the very least, this scenario does struggle a little bit with infectivity. And as awesome as the descriptions are, and they are awesome, there is some difficulty of knowing what each individual transmission and symptom does and what kind of gating mechanisms exist. That, what I would say, is one major downside. Unfortunately, I believe in the character creator there is a character limit, which means the only way to really put in all the information you would need to play the scenario intelligently would be to get rid of the lovely, lovely poetry, which I'm obviously not a fan of that idea either. So, that's a little bit difficult. But other than that, thematically, the scenario is pretty cool. Can't say that I fully understand the basis of it. Hang on, let me read this. Well, I wanted to read it again, but apparently we're going to get stuck on the loading screen. I missed a little bit of the early context, but it seems really cool. I really like the descriptions. I love the customization. It's a really well-done scenario. Maybe a tiny bit of extra infectivity, but at the very least, I found a path. It's called Reduce Your Severity. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.